first thing I want to do tonight, and I want to just very briefly look at a question on capital maintenance. I'm then going to start our revision class, which is what tonight is meant to be mainly about. I have done a handout for the class, which is just really setting out each topic and the points and some comments about the exam or the way in which the topic's examined. That is up on Moodle, and we'll go through it tonight in class. I have also done a handout on a relatively recent case on Foss and Harbottle that I may have mentioned to you last week. Again, it's up on Moodle. It's just a short case note on it, and I'll discuss that in this class as well. When we were looking at the rule that a company can't acquire its own shares, and we said that although that was the original prohibition, the 1990 Act has enacted various exceptions to that rule, which now allows a company to acquire its own shares provided certain steps are taken and certain formalities are followed. And one of the rules that we saw was that if a company is going to acquire its own shares, it must do so out of its distributable profits. And I said we'd come back to the meaning of distributable profits. Now, in terms of the relevant legislation, I suppose the question of distributions was legislated for in the 1983 Companies Amendment Act. And the relevant provision is section 45 of that act, which is set out in paragraph 55 of the handout. How I would suggest doing this is, as you're studying, fill out the right-hand column of the page. So take an A4 page and divide it into two. Fill out the right hand as you're studying. So in other words, every case that you think is important enough that you have to remember it, every statutory provision, any major point, write it into the right-hand column. Revise the chapter, close the chapter, and then fill in the left-hand column 2, 3, 5, 7 words to remind yourself of what the case or what the statutory provision is. So you're testing yourself. If you don't know, take out the chapter and look it up and then write it in. And at least then you will build up 19 or 20 of these sheets so that when you're in the last 2 days before the exam, you're hopefully at a stage where you can just be looking at these over and over again and talking yourself through the material. Don't leave yourselves in a situation where you're sitting with the entire company manual the night before the exam, because I just can guarantee you that it won't work. It'll be a disaster. This is just one way that worked for me in the past and that I've given to other students in the past.